3-2.
It's November.
Oh.
And it's dark, man. 5:30 today, I was taking my daughter to dance, and we're like, what is this, the apocalypse here? I mean, it's already dark at 6 o'clock. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I got out of practice, and you're like, I'm going to practice.
Go in when it's dark and come out when it's dark. It's pitiful, man. Well, I'll tell you another thing is, I don't like cold weather. You know, I wear shorts around as much as possible. I'm like an old winter Texan, you know. So this is kind of, now is the winter of our discontent. But not with high school football. That's going to make us happy no matter what the weather. Although I was looking at my truck tonight, I got my cold weather gear, got my plastic going. I have a feeling that pretty soon, like, cold weather's going to blow in when we're watching playoff games in jackets, you know. Maybe we'll be watching the jackets in jackets. Who knows? Let's talk about 32-5A. Like I said, I went to Mercedes, and I thought the Tigers did a real good job. They're getting all those kids back healthy, including David Alvarado, who's a pretty good player. I already told you about Roel Garcia. There's a bunch of guys in that team. There's a couple of guys on the front line, 90 and 93. Those are big kids for Mercedes on that defensive line. They're both solid players. Their secondary is quick. I like their defense. I like their whole team. I think that they could play. I've been telling people all week, I think they could play with any team in the Valley. I don't care who you want to put them up against.
And they play their 7-on-7 offense with the line, you know, the block, but it's a 7-on-7 offense that can just air out the ball.
They throw everything,
the
and I'll tell you what they do also real well is they run the screen, and they sell it and they set it up, and you think you know that it's coming, but you don't know that it's coming and that it's coming. No, I think Mercedes is outstanding. Brandon Gutierrez.
How hard was it for the corners or anybody coming up to tackle press us? I mean, because you compared him to Roethlisberger, but I mean,
the guy, someone came in to sack him, and Presses just kind of clubbed him, and then he moved on, man. That guy's strong as a bull. I thought he was the nicest kid, too. I talked to him after, kind of a quiet guy. He's not a blabbermouth, not a loudmouth, but a nice kid. I really enjoyed him. We talked a little bit about college football. He's a big Auburn Tiger fan. I wonder if he was excited about that game the other day.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game, right? 35-31.
He watched it. Meet him for the first time last year during a powder puff game. He was coaching the Mercedes Tigers.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And I didn't even know it was him. I'm like, who's this lineman talking?
I know, right? Is that the tackle? No.
Yeah.
Now Presses he's legitimate. He's got great touch on. He has great touch on a deep ball, which is ironic, right? You'd expect someone to dink and dunk with precision, but that guy throws deep balls to the corners, and they got multiple receivers, man. Some guy 6 out of nowhere makes an incredible catch. I can't remember his name. No, they got a lot of good players in that team. Quintanilla is a great linebacker, 34. You name it. There's 10 or 12 guys. I think Mercedes has 10 or 12 of the best players in the Valley. That's why I would put them up against anybody.
Now, this district has probably the worst logjam, I guess.
Oh, I was about to say the worst one. It's a great district. Okay, worst logjam, right?
Logjam of any district right now because we can't tell who's going to be in the playoffs come next week.
Donna's like Rivera. Donna could win, and they're in against Eckhouse. Win against Eckhouse, and they're in. But if they lose the positive points and then the head-to-head, they might be out.
Yeah.
And they're playing very much better football right now. They're getting a lot of running. That Mike Tomez, man, that dude is cold-blooded, man. He had a touchdown return, and he had 187 yards.
Now, they do get Doherty back.
Yes, they do.
So they get Doherty back. So I don't know if that's good or bad right now because they're playing so well. Does it kind of slow down their offense, or does it help them speed up?
No, I think he's a good player, and that helps him. Against Eckhouse, though, will Donna be physical enough up and down those lines? And you know what? This is what we said at the beginning of the season. I told you this game would mean something, and it would be 2 very physical teams. And so that's what it is. Eckhouse is in. Mercedes has Porter, so I mean Eckhouse technically can still tie for a district championship, but I don't think Porter's going to beat Mercedes. Eckhouse Donna's the game of the week. PSJ Southwest, whom by the way I really like that team. I did. That kid ran hard for them. That running back. What's his name? Acosta, 33. No, he's a good runner. Impressive little team. Now they have to beat Pace. Now Pace has been playing better, man. They really have.
Pace is playing better. I could see this as one of maybe, if any of these was going to be an upset game.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, because Pace is not doing bad. PSJ Southwest now 5-4. Pace got that big lineman or a tight end, Arturo Villano. That guy had 197 yards last week, man. He's doing well.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, look, Pace is in a situation almost like Mission or Harlingen South, where any win is a big win.
Yeah.
But anything that really affects somebody else is even better.
Like South San Benito.
Yeah, better win. I mean, you just throw a wrench into everything.
They can knock those Javelinas out the playoffs, right? So we'll see if that happens.
And they can help Donna in the same.
That's right. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pace played right with them. Right? That's my way of saying that. Here's the deal. We're looking at a 3-way tie. If Donna does not beat Eckhouse, and right now I would have to say that Eckhouse is probably a favorite, playing at home. They're looking good, but not a prohibitive favorite. I mean, not even, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
The odds makers in Las Vegas say 4 and 5. Las Vegas, New Mexico, of course. Yeah. So if it's a 3-way tie, like we said, the Bears win all the tiebreakers and positive points. They're going to be in.
Yeah.
Up and down team, a lot of talent, especially on defense. You know, they haven't scored a ton of points, but the Bears will be in the playoffs. It looks like if things happen the way we think, that PSJ Southwest will be in and the Bears will be in. Donna might be the odd man out. Boy, wouldn't that be a drag for them? Because they really have fought back. I mean, you know, their staff deserves a lot of credit because for a while that we buried Donna, not me, you, but you know, I think I hit my microphone.
Yeah. But no, I mean, look, I mean, they had after losing.
Yeah, I mean, that screws up your season, man. You got your stud gets hurt in the first game. I mean, but they've rebounded and they're within range. And so if they can pull off the win against that Couch, they deserve it and they'll be in.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be at probably the Ed Couch game.
Yeah, you're going to be there?
Yeah.
How about Thursday? You're going to be at Velo Vets? Dun, dun, dun. What a game.
Yes. The game with that game right there.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
think about that.
Man.
Think about, you know, you got Ever Lopez, who everybody's, you know, says
He's very good. 21 touchdowns.
and he's going against probably who we thought was the best quarterback in the Valley.
When healthy, I believe that he might be him and Precious and Lance Madden, you know. So, yeah, I think Santos is ready to play. You know, the thing about veterans, guys, is that their defense hasn't gotten any credit. I've been trying to talk up some guys this year because I'm looking at the numbers. No, they got some players, man. This guy,
they're all purpose. They're all duty. You know, they're all over the place.
Wherever you need them, that's where they play. They haven't given up a lot of yards. They had that one game early, gave up 44 to Permian. Other than that, man, and 37 to Sharyland. Keep in mind, Sharyland's that team that no matter what you say, you have to always account for them because they're the best, right? These two teams are playing for second. The seedings, they'll be in big school, both of them. They're going to determine 1 and 2 seeds. It's a nice game. It really is a very even game. This guy Cabrera for the Patriots has 125 tackles. Incredible. He's a junior. I like Libano or Kevin Libano. I can't know how you say that game, but that name. But he's had a good season too.
Yeah, and here's my question in this game is Vela had a week of rest. But before that, the Rio game, it wasn't like, I don't know if it's foreshadowing,
Negative Nelly.
Yeah, but they didn't play very well against.
No, they didn't. But a lot of teams haven't played well against Rio. Let's see what Sharyland does with them because both the top 2 contenders behind Sharyland have struggled with Rio. Right, they led 12-7 against veterans.
Yeah.
So let's see. They got some kids back from injuries. That's a team that played tough early on. Then they went into a trough, but they're getting back together again. So I don't think they're going to take Sharyland down. But Sharyland could use a workout. They really could. I'm not trying to be patronizing. They need a tough game right now because for a while it's been smooth sailing. You know.
And I know a lot of people kind of took it out on us.
Oh yes.
For our poll.
Sit up straight here.
The change of 2-1. You know, and look, it's nothing against Sharyland. We realized they did beat Memorial.
Yes, they did. It's nothing against anybody, guys. First of all, this poll is a strange animal because it's a pound-for-pound poll. A lot of people said, La Feria, why are they? Okay, fine, understand. The reasons that, there are lots of reasons on both sides. So let's go over them very quickly. The main reason that we decided Memorial should go to number 1 is that they scored a huge win against a city rival in almost November in pretty smashing fashion. Yeah. Right? So in other words, sometimes a win late in the season pays off more than a win early in the season.
Yeah, and look, it's natural in any sport. The early games are just, hey, maybe they didn't have all my stuff together.
They're tone setters, and that's not to take away the fact that Sharyland beat the devil out of Memorial. 59-28. You can't take that away. My reasoning was that was very early on, and since then Memorial has turned it on and played great football. And I just feel like they've played a little bit better football than Sharyland.
And you had to remember, too, they had a quarterback that had been out with a collarbone.
Yeah, they weren't right.
He finally came back in, but he was getting his legs. I mean, this is his first real varsity experience. I
guarantee you this. If Sharyland played Memorial again, it would be a close game, okay? You got that one game that's a blowout. I feel like it would be a close game now. But that's not to take away from the fact and the argument of the Sharyland fans that they already beat the team that you put ahead of us. I mean, I can understand that. And so I'm one of those guys who, if you have a reasonable argument, I'm willing to say you're right. And you are right in this particular case. But there are multiple arguments to take into consideration. So, but it's never personal. Who cares about that stuff? I love both them teams. Go back and read some of the stuff I've written about Memorial in the past. God, I had my crying towel out. I was so good to them.
Yeah.
Come on.
and look, I mean, Sharyland is... I guess they're a victim of their district too, because there's some down teams in that district. Not to say that 30 6A.
Right.
Is,
No,
doesn't have their share of
that's
local
right.
teams.
Neither one of them had great districts to play in. You know, I mean, it was a close call, put it that way. I will tell you this about Sherryland. Any team that has 2 of the top 10 players in the Valley always has a chance to beat anybody.
Yeah.
Who am I talking about? Lance Madden, the senior, not the
Yeah.
junior, although I wish he was back next year. And Landez, who, I don't know how many interceptions he has for touchdowns. Is it 3? It might be at least 3. No, those guys are making plays, man. They're making plays big time.
Yeah, to my good friend in Sheridan, who won't take my phone calls anymore, call me back, man.
Come on, man. Yeah. Hey, but a little excitement.
I got love for you. Hey, but when you compare us to that other stuff, we're not selling magazines, we're not selling newspapers.
Oh man, golly, I don't even know what to say about that.
That's honestly, that's like saying I kissed my mother.
So, your mother's a nice gal, though.
Yeah, or other things.
Yeah.
But moving on.
This guy, let me get out of here. It's incredible. Moving on, let's take a look now. Let's turn the page here. We don't have Tinkerbell to help us, but you want to talk about 4As or you want to take a break?
You know what, let's take a break. We'll come back when we get 4As.
Rattlers, Mustangs, they're both good.